All right, we are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and others. Welcome back to the Nipaa TV show. I'm your host, Nipaa TV. That's me. We're gonna castation. I don't know. Those aren't words, but we're back. We're gonna commentate on some more StarCraft 1 games, and we're gonna do it a little different this time. And I think we're gonna make this a standard from here on out, which is where I'm going to take 6 replays, and they're all going to be each matchup, and then we're just going to commentate them all. And on top of that, we are going to spin a wheel to see which replay we play first, and then we'll just keep spinning them, and if we double up, we just keep, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let's see. We have one of each matchup. 6 matchups to be total, to be specific. Terran versus Zerg looks like it's going to be the first one, so we'll go ahead and do the Terran versus Zerg replay. And yeah, let's see here. Hold on just a second, guys. All right, here we go. We're going to go ahead, send these out to people. And, yeah, let's do it. Okay. We got the wheel name, we got everything. So that was, Terran vs. Zerg first. So let's, here we go. So it's going to be, the first game's going to be PNT Moana versus Sujat on, oh, all right. The expansion set. Okay. I guess. They should just remove StarCraft 1. Honestly, just keep it Brood War. Nobody plays StarCraft 1 besides the freaking campaign. Just kidding. All right, so the map is going to be retro, and we'll see if the game loads, and it does. Cool. I'm trying to remember. We get rid of that, and then we open it up. That's right. It's been a long time since I've commentated. That's not it. That's not it. There we go. It's the hands reveal on time map. Here we go. So, Terran vs. Zerg. All right, let's get to it. Wow, okay, that's more that's more sensitivity than I thought for the freaking middle mouse button. On the top right of the map, we have PNT Moana as the green Zerg, sure. And on the bottom left, we have Sajatker. We'll call him Jat for short, and that's the purple Terran. Not sure. I can't see colors because genes. Oh well. So, like I said, it's been a long time since I've cast these games, so I don't remember quite what the meta is. It looks like an SCV is being used to wall off initially. So we'll see some barracks action coming up, and we'll see probably a fast expansion as well. I think Zerg goes, I think Mutalisk Ling. Doesn't really go Lurkers versus Terran. I think Zerg tends to go for a lot of mobility because just Terran likes to do things crazy. I know Terran for a fact does bio. They don't really do mech unless they're facing other Terrans or they're facing Protoss, because mech is just so good versus those two. And it's been that, Mez's been in that way for a while. So be curious to see if these players follow suit on those expected ways of playing, or they do some variations, which will be exciting to see. We have an SCV being scattered out from Jat, and we have 2 locations that he's going to go to, and eventually they're going to find out that their opponent's on the top right. And I think our Zerg buddy, yeah, he did go hatch first. Hatch before extractor and spawning pool, so that's pretty cool. Terran could possibly send a Marine out to do some harass, but I don't think it's going to do that much damage. But we'll see. Terran not getting gas, I think that is pretty standard. Don't really need to get gas because you got to save up those minerals, right? Got to save up those mins for the expansion, which is coming up pretty shortly. Once this hits 400, oh geez. Well, it'll get there eventually. I mean, this SCV is being moving out to get that expansion going. And yeah, not a lot of things are going to happen right now since it is the early game. But we do see a lair, actually, a pretty early lair. So fast mutas are a high possibility, I think. Zerg is getting that gas as well. I don't think we have speed being researched. So he actually went lair before metabolic boost. Some SCV harass on the drones, but drones are pretty dang powerful. I think they are the strongest worker in terms of damage. Maybe even health too, I'm not sure. But not really going to phase our Zerg player that much. Going to be a little bit of a nuisance, a little bit of annoyance. Little tickle. A little tickle to get the opponent's attention. It looks like our command center is about 3/4 of the way done. Nice wall off with the Marines here. Try to thwart any oncoming aggression. Be pretty cool. I see an engineering bay going down as well. I think that opens up the tech path, if I'm not mistaken. Shows you how much of a professional I am when it comes to commentating StarCraft 2. Now, if it was StarCraft 1, if it was StarCraft 2, I think I'd have a little bit more credibility in regards to knowledge of the game. Right now, I'm just kind of saying what's on the screen. Okay, an SCV just died. So, got some pretty key scouting information. Does see that there is a spire coming up. Probably the Terran probably expected that, but this confirms it. So they're going to plan accordingly. This engineering base is going to be great for getting those missile turrets down to try to thwart those mutalisks. And we actually see STEM being researched at this time. And we'll see what Terran ends up doing. From what I understand, from what I remember, Terrans typically stay on 2 base for a long time. But yeah, we'll see if that ends up happening. I'm not sure quite why they do that. Maybe just to stock up and turtle up before, getting a giant ball of bio. But we'll see. Lots of activity on the map. If you see on the mini-map here, just lings everywhere. Just scouting every possible direction. Seeing if Terran does any sneaky buildings or any other bases. Zerg definitely has the upper hand in terms of map control right now, just due to the nature of the race itself, which is lots of mobility. The overlords are able to see many locations. So yeah, and we actually see +1 attacks going down for the Spire at this time. So those mutalisks will do more damage. I'm not sure if they one-shot SCVs with that ability. Again, do not know the specifics, but we do see 2 missile turrets going down on the production tab right there. And we see, what is it, 3 mutalisks? Maybe 4? Yeah, 4 mutalisks? 5, 6? Yeah, something like that. About 6 mutalisks on the map. And what these are here to do is pick off an SCV like that, but the missile turret does go down, doesn't kill a mutalisk. Doesn't really, gets them pretty low, but thanks to that overlord technique where you hotkey a stray overlord across the map, it clumps the mutalisks together, making it harder to target the mutalisks, if you did not know, which is a pretty sick technique that was discovered. I mean, this game's been out for 20 plus years, so missile turrets are down. Let's see how much damage that the mutalisks can do, and they are doing quite a bit of damage. We got 2 SCVs, 3 SCVs dying. Marines forcing a stem here, so decent amount of damage. No mutalisks dying. Excellent control from Moana. We'll see if, and yeah, that actually did open up a path to get a 3rd base, and interestingly enough, not saturating the minerals first, saturating the gas actually first, which makes sense because, you're making mutalisks. They cost gas, so I'm going to do that. It looks like we do have a move out from Terran. This will leave his base a little exposed. We got 3 medics, tons of Marines. Some Marines in the base here to defend while the offensive moves out. Stim does go down. 1 Marine does get picked off. We're down to 6 mutalisks. More mutalisks getting picked off actually from the rally point. That's not good. But quickly evading that. We'll see what Jat can do. And we'll see what Moana's going to end up doing. in response to this because it doesn't really have too much of a formidable force to stop this. Sunken colonies would probably be a good idea right about now. And we'll see what they end up doing. We do have a queen's nest. Get some of those queens. This is a scary bio ball and a huge pickoff from the Mutas. I think they just killed one. More Mutalists and Lings are rendezvousing in a huge bio force. That's actually an insane amount of troops moving across the field. And the Mutalists are getting picked off. Just not so great control from Moana, unfortunately. But the rest of the troops, rest of the forces are rendezvousing. We have an overlord that's going to oversee things. And this may be the end. There are no static defense. The ground forces are simply too large for the Terran. Terran's just going to move out and kill as much as possible. But the Mutalists are focusing down this back force. And the medics actually doing a fantastic job of... Wow, just actually completely defended that. That's kind of crazy. Just shows how good of control these guys have at this level. And keeping the Mutalists alive is probably fairly paramount because of how expensive they are and how much damage they could do once they have more numbers. This doesn't seem to be facing the turn too much. Does have a decent force back home to defend. This is a scary Mutalos ball. And again, as predicted, no third base from Terran at this time. They'll start coming in. 2 missile turrets that may not be enough, honestly. Marines are out. Stim is going down. And it is going to thwart these Mutalists a little bit. We'll see how much damage they could do. I mean, they are picking off a bunch of Marines and medics. And I've neglected to mention that we do have siege tanks, and we actually have a Valkyrie that just got produced from the starport, which are fantastic versus Mutalists. So, as long as our Terran buddy can get more Valkyries, they should be able to stop this Mutalist force. Meanwhile, I wouldn't be surprised if Zerg does grab a 4th base at some point. Valkyrie actually opting to take out the Overlord. That will supply block our Zerg buddy, but I am sure they are going to get some more Overlords right now. They are. Two Overlords right now. Very cool. Okay. A lot of stalemates happening, a little World War I action going on. Makes sense. Zerg is trying to do damage, but Terran's doing an excellent job of defending, and 2 Valkyries on the field is actually going to prove pretty dastardly for our Zerg. And there they go. We have some Scourge, though. Let's see how much they do connect. 1 Valkyrie does go down, but we still have 1 left. And we actually have some Lurkers comps that goes down. Does kill them. Let's see how much damage this Valkyrie can do. Doing a crap ton of damage and actually down to 3. Oh my gosh, the Valkyrie's still alive. 14 HP. It does finally get destroyed, but there are only 3 Mutalists on the field. No ground forces. So there is a Lurker that can defend. So there's a possibility that Terran is out of energy, but I highly doubt it. We'll see, actually. Okay, there is the comsat. See how much damage these Lurkers could do with that linear splash damage. Sunken colonies are being morphed this time. There are... I don't see any other Zerglings. Okay, there are some Zerglings. We have some Hydras being morphed, obviously, as well, because Lurker and Terran has a nice foothold with these siege tanks. They're going to do the classic siege tank push. And if you don't know... Siege tanks outrange those sunken colonies, so these Marines will be safe, but it doesn't matter because Terran's going to move in with Stim and take care of this. And this may be the end for Zerg, unfortunately. Just came down to macro and numbers at this point. See how much damage they could do. I mean, the Lurkers are doing quite a bit of damage, and I have been surprised before with... Yep, there it is. Okay. I will say Zerg defending earlier was very impressive versus that giant bio ball, but the amount of damage was simply too much, son. All right, yeah, good game. Okay, so that was our Zerg versus Protoss game. So we have 5 games left. Yeah, we got Moana. Okay, let's spin the wheel. Let's see what we land on next. All right, PvP. Here we go. Nice. Okay. PvP, where is it? Okay, it's gonna be Barkherd versus 1 day 3 DDR on Fighting Spirit. Let's do it. All right, get rid of the. Okay, so Fighting Spirit, famous Brood War map, probably the most infamous one besides Big Game Hunters, I say. Top left, blue, Protoss as barcode. We will refer to them as barcode. Bottom left, we have DDR. I think I have commentated DDR quite a long time ago. There's also a possibility that is a clan tag name, so I'm not sure. I'm just going to call him DDR because, you know, whatever. We're all about making things a little easier here. So they are the red Protoss. I think I mentioned that already. So we can analyze the map because I'm not sure what's going to go on for PvP that much. I think a lot of Reaver drops, Dragoons, stuff like that. Not really a lot of Zealot play. That's typically versus Zerg. But this is the map, Fighting Spirit. Classic. We have the, you know, the base right in the middle. We have an easy natural expansion to expand to. A nice choke here for walling off. But I doubt these players, in fact, they are not going to wall off. But they do have different pylon placements, which is pretty cool to see. And then our third is relatively easy to defend. Unfortunately, there's a second ramp that can be used as a flanking position. And then the fourth, that's where things get a little dicey. And that definitely forces some engagements. You can't turtle forever, sir. Probe is being moved out. We'll see how much information we could gather at this point. We have a gateway and a gas, gateway and no gas, actually. We have, interesting, we have a 2-gate opener from DDR, changing it up. We're going to see some Zealot aggression, so I was totally wrong about the, you know, no Zealots being used. And, of course, red being annoying, getting blue's attention there by zapping that Nexus. A little cute probe. Who would have thought that a cute little probe could be so menacing? Yeah, I mean, cannon rush, right? So, anyways, blue is going to send out their scout, and they are actually going to find their opponent quite fast, which is going to be great because they will be able to get information on this 2-gate aggression. Again, no gas from red, so this is a high commitment. Spending all those minerals, and the probe does see the Zealot. Does not see the 2-gate, but there is a possibility that they did predict that there's going to be a 2-gate. So we're going to see some Dragoons, which can kite out the Zealots, and we actually see a second gate. What the heck just happened to that probe? That was freaky. We have a Zealot. It just freaking moonwalked backwards. That was nuts, dude. Okay. And the blue probe does see the immense amount of Zealots. We have 3 Zealots coming out. Going to the opponent. Yeah. So we'll see what blue can do. 1 Dragoon, 1 Zealot. We have Singularity Charge being researched, which will be helpful in that range. And we'll see, again, more Dragoons being put on the field. It's going to really come down to micro at this point, obviously. And we'll see how much blue could pick off here. There's a nice wall up, but the Zealots do get through. 1 probe is going to live. I wouldn't be surprised if DDR is going to pull some probes off the line in order to get some. Does micro this drone a little out of position. That's okay. Let's see how much damage these Zealots can do. Not doing too much damage. 1 probe does die. Maybe 2. Definitely 2. Maybe even 3. I mean, Zealots are super tanky. And I don't think we're going to get any more Zealots at this point because this 2-gate didn't really do that much damage. 4 probes. 4 probes for, what was it, 3 or 4 Zealots? Actually does not economically go into red's favor, so we'll see what they end up doing. They are transitioning into gas and going for Citadel of Dune. Possibility for Dark Shrine or maybe some Dark Templar. We'll see. Yeah, we do see the Templar Archive. So, as predicted, they're probably going to go for Dark Templar. Again, one base on both sides, which is nice to see. Barcode could definitely opt to get an expansion, but we'll see if they end up getting an observatory. I think that would be the smart move if they figure out what their opponent's going to be doing. There's a nice contain here from blue, trying to focus down those dragoons. Though single zealot does die, but you gotta remember that these dragoons for Barcode have singularity charge, so they are going to be far more effective. And actually, the boys are having to be pulled to kind of thwart this. Rough spot for DDR. Just some excellent micro, too, from these dragoons. Lots of patience. But we do have 2 Dark Templar being warped in. I say warped in, but really they're just being produced. But I think it's technically... Yeah, I mean, it's called a warp gate, opening warp gate. Anyways, boys are having to be pulled. We'll see. I mean, we do have a forge going down. That is the last bastion of hope for Barcode against these Dark Templar. We'll see if they see the shimmer. And they do. Okay, that officially confirms that the Dark Templar are on the field. So we'll see what Barcode ends up doing. Definitely going to get that cannon down to detect those Dark Templar. DDR being highly aggressive, which I like to see. But Barcode doing a nice job of, you know, taking the cards that they are dealt with and trying the best that they can. See what ends up happening. Dark Templar are going to probably pick off 1 Dragoon. And we actually have I did not see that. That is so big brain, dude. Oh my. That is sick. Okay, I didn't even notice the Dark Templar going out for blue. But Barcode, obviously, as you can see, you know, made Dark Templars themselves and is holding position. These Dark Templar literally just can't do anything. That is like the pacifist run in Undertale. You don't really kill your opponent, you just indirectly stop them in this way, which is cool to see. We have Pylon being morphed, and a Dark Templar, a Dark Archon's being morphed, and it does it's easy. Oh my gosh. I don't know if they're trash talking. I can't read Korean. I can't imagine they are. I don't know. And if they are, whatever. Right? So, and Barcode is getting a Nexus up and running, so going to get that economic lead. So we'll see what ends up happening for sure. Barcode is going to do stuff. He's gonna do stuff, mate. And Red also following it. Making a Dark Templar in front of his very eyes again. These guys are... I think that is haha in Korean, if I'm not mistaken. These guys are definitely trolling the heck out of each other. That is funny to see. Even in an old game like this, people are just having the time of their lives. Good for them, man. And I'm one of them, kind of. So there you go. Some people that are watching is like, man, this game's old. Well, I have news for you. It looks even older now. All right. Let's go back to the new graphics. The new graphics, right. We have legs being produced from DDR, and we actually do see a shuttle, so we're probably most likely going to see some Reaver drops, which, as mentioned before, seems to be highly prominent in StarCraft 1, yes. In Protoss versus Protoss, last time I recall. We have some full saturation. We got a photon cannon just in case any tomfoolery of Dark Templars come marching down. We actually see a High Templar being produced. Dang, I wish you could see what upgrades have been researched, but you can't because lame. All right, we got a Reaver coming out. So I don't think we see any upgrades for the Reavers being produced. So it's just going to be straight up vanilla Reavers. Whatever. We have an Observer. large zealot count, and they are wasting no time at all. Actually, Barcode's observer does get decimated. But the zealots are kind of going in an interesting direction. Maybe scouting for thirds? No, I think they're just rendezvousing here. Tons of... What the Wow, okay, 2 forges. Doesn't he already have a forge? I don't know why he's doing 2 forges. Maybe because of the placement. But anyways, tons of cannons. We got 5 cannons to defend this. But we do have an Artosis pylon here. So if that gets taken out, all of this is powered down. But, I mean, Barcode in a great position. So not doing a Reaver drop, actually just doing a Reaver just attack. But Dragoons are going to try to focus this down, forcing the Reaver to have to be dropped, and does get focused down. And unfortunately, all of these Dragoons do die. I'm not sure if that was worth diving the Zealot force, but there are a lot of photon cannons. Boys are having to be pulled out. We have a High Templar. See, Psionic Storm isn't researched, and I think Red just straight up wins. Highly ambitious unit dive there for Barcode to try to take out that Reaper. Dang, yeah, and there's GG in Korean. I know that. So, wow, that's too bad. Blue had a really good defense, and yeah, just didn't pan out with that. I think that was just got a little crazy, got a little too impatient there. It was nuts. So let's pull up the next game. What did we do? We just did PvP, and we just did TVZ. Get rid of that. All right. Let's see what's next. It looks like Protoss versus Terran. And we would be correct. Go. Protoss versus Terran. That is Radeon. Okay. Let's get rid of Protoss versus Terran. Since we only have 3 games after this. Poggers. Okay. So, it's going to be Boa versus Gigi Orison. Cool, let's do it. On Radeon. Not the graphics card, but yeah. Anyways. Okay, map is Radeon. I'm not familiar with this map, but we'll analyze it pretty soon. But let's introduce the players we got. As the... Oh, crap. Is this green? Shoot. I'm going to assume this is green. So, Boa as the green Protoss on the bottom left, and then the top... Wait, I'm sorry, bottom left? Yeah. Okay, I'm stupid. All right, top left, we have Gigi Aprison as the Orange Terran. And let's take a look at the map. So, we have some neutral decals here that help create a full wall-off. As mentioned many times in my Castations in the past, Brood War is a lot more sensitive when it comes to walling off in terms of placement, because you have to be incredibly verbatim, anally specific when it comes to walling off. So these eggs are here to try to assist in that, in the walling off process. Fortunately, Terran is not going to wall off versus Protoss. Protoss is not going to wall off versus Terran. Why would you wall off versus ranged? Doesn't make sense. Everybody's done it before when they're first playing, because they think they're safe and they think walling off is cool, but then you realize that it's stupid and you shouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? What is Devin talking about? I mean, Nipaa talking about. I don't know why I use my first name. Anyways, so like many of these maps that we have been commentating, the natural expansions are incredibly easy to take, and then the third gets a little more complicated, and the fourth becomes crazy. And wow, I have never seen a ramp like this before. That's actually kind of cool. It goes up. I've never seen that before, so this must mean it goes down. Because usually ramps are at a 45-degree angle. I never see one that is incredibly perpendicular. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, or 90 degrees. Whatever your perspective. So, Protoss is scouting with this probe probably not going to find their opponent for a while, considering they went right first. If they went left first, it would have been immediate, but since they went right first, obviously it's going to take a little bit longer to find out where your opponent is. We actually see an early factory from our Terran buddy, Capri Sun. I'm just going to call him Capri Sun. GG Capri Sun. Capri Sun. He got some Marines being morphed. Just kidding. They're being produced. We don't see an expansion. Terran, again, in StarCraft 1, isn't really in a rush to get an expansion unless they're fighting Zerg. But Protoss definitely plays as if they were Zerg and tries to expand and get map control. Oh, and as mentioned before, which makes sense with the early factory, we are going to see some mech play. Obviously, we see some early Marines here, but that's only because, you know, you could afford to make the Marines, and you could also stop any Protoss BS that might come their way. And the Marines are actually moving out. I don't think they know where their opponent is. So, we'll see how that ends up panning out. We actually see some SCVs. So, this is actually a bunker rush. This is really cool to see. We have a photon cannon being morphed in. We have one zealot to defend, so we just have a zealot and a photon cannon. We'll see how effective that can be. And the cybernetics core, pretty delayed, but once it's done, we'll get a dragoon being morphed out. Some of the boys are being pulled in order to take out this SCV incredibly low. But what's better than one SCV? 4 SCVs. The SCVs are actually kind of on the offensive. This SCV is so low, 5 HP. And I think what Protoss has to do is they have to play incredibly patient right now. We actually see some siege tank and siege research. That's going to make things even worse for our Protoss buddy. So we'll see what ends up happening. Dragoon is definitely a must. Going to get some more Dragoons. I think it's just going to come down to straight up unadulterated micro when it comes to fighting our opponent. Here comes the Dragoon. Oh my gosh. Got one Marine. That's pretty cool, actually. And we see... Is that a... Sorry. That's a pylon. Okay. Pylon's being researched or thrown down. We have another gateway. We have 4th gateway. So it looks like Protoss is going to opt to go for gateway units. Honestly, pretty smart. Also, we need to keep in mind that Terran is still on one base. So if Protoss holds this... they will have an economic lead against their opponent. Terran right now just kind of chilling, taking a smoke break. We actually see some spider mines being researched too. That's going to be incredibly annoying. The siege tank does have siege upgrades. So again, oh man, it's going to be a rough position because this photon cannon, once this goes down, the deterrent to not go in for the Terran is now down because he can now go in because the deterrent is down, and now there they go. And we have some spider mines almost researched for the vulture, but Terran baiting out the Protoss units. Siege tank trying to do as much damage as possible. Protoss is going to try to focus down the siege tank. Once the siege tank does go down, it will prove much better for the Protoss, and an excellent defense from Protoss. Excellent job, Boa. And Capri Sun is going to have to go back home and drink more Capri Suns because he's out of unit. So he's got to quench his thirst. I don't know what that means. Is getting a base himself, but Protoss has already been established. So we'll see what they end up teching into. We have a robotics facility. Incredibly patient play from our Protoss here. I know I sound biased. I always like to go for the underdog when they're under attack. But don't worry, I'll switch the heel if it ever comes to that. Switch the heel is the original phrase, by the way. And if you think I'm incorrect, well, you're incorrect yourself. So we have a dropship coming down. We have 4 vultures inside. They do have spider mines. We'll see how much damage they do. And they're dropping right now. And here they go. Let's see how much damage they could do. They got an Artosis pylon here. We got a bunch of Dragoons holding out to defend. We have some spider mines being forced to be plopped down. And unfortunately not doing any damage. But the vultures going in, going to take care of the mineral line. I think 3 probes do die. And again, that dropship is gone. Help. No, it's right. No. Okay, well, those vultures died and got 4 probes, kind of decent trade, but I think the dropship got focused down already. So, cool to watch, but I'm not sure if it was entirely worth it, but that's okay. Terran's not out of this game. We have some spider mines on the field, which I really do enjoy seeing from Terrans. Terrans always impress me with their ability to just make mines throughout the entire freaking map and make the StarCraft 1 experience as close to World War I as possible. Very sick to see. And we got an armory going down, so we'll definitely see some upgrados from Terran. Yeah. And we have the classic barracks liftoff scouting, because you're not going to use your barracks anymore. You might as well use it for something. So you go throw it at the enemy base and confuse them as much as possible. And again, we have a shuttle here, and we're actually going to see some aggression from our Protoss, which will be really sick to see. And I think a third base is going to be established, but incredibly smart positioning on the spider mine on the third base. But I think Protoss is going to opt to go for this as the third base, so maybe this is incredibly preemptive. Probably incredibly preemptive. So we'll see how much damage that... okay, the Zealots are still right there. Charon boosters? Oh, that's right. Increased missile range on the Goliaths for Terran, and also getting vehicle weapons upgrade, making those vehicles do even more incredibly stupid damage versus our opponent, the Protoss. So that's pretty cool. And both players not really opting to get a third, but I think... Oh, and as soon as I say that, I look like a dum-dum because Boa just got a freaking Nexus, so that's cool. We got some vultures moving across the field. Gonna try to take care of some stray units. And again, just placing even more spider mines. That's just so cool. Crazy. Oh. Just excellent positioning. But Protoss is moving out with a pretty significant force of Dragoons. And Zealots are in the dropship. I think their main mission is to take care of the siege tanks, but we got a large siege tank force. Probably best not to engage upon this, but maybe Protoss is going to use this to their advantage. No anti-air at this time. I think we do have some Goliath. Yeah, we got one Goliath that's about to come online. We got two of them, but Protoss is opting to just leave. Lots of observers on the field to take care of these spider mines. And these four vultures taking a smoke break on the left here. And third base is about to be complete for a Protoss player. So that'll be cool to see. That'll be really cool to see. Yeah. See what ends up happening. Yeah, not a lot going on. Again, World War I action going on. Which is probably going to be a joke that's going to run out of style pretty quickly. All right, so siege tanks are being plopped down. 2 Dragoons do die. This third base is under attack, obviously, based on the explosions and the firing pylon. The pylon that's on fire and exploded. So this third base is going to be not Daijobu, but that's okay because Protoss is going to take another base. We'll see what Protoss ends up doing. Honestly, just kind of sacking that base. There's nothing they could really do versus that. Siege tanks are pretty scary. We actually have some carriers being produced. That's sick. So we have some carriers. That'll be fun to see. Goliaths will make short work of that. Of course, there are only 3-4 on the field right now. See what Protoss ends up doing. This third base is incredibly paramount to defend. Oh, actually does end up just going for the counterattack. Zealot's doing a bunch of damage on the siege tanks. Dropship does go down. We have the shuttle being used to micro and take care of the siege tanks. Incredibly smart play going down. See what Terran ends up doing. They're just going to go for the counterattack themselves because they're like, hey, man, I can just lift off. You can't base race me. I'm Terran. It's in my nature. Dragoons are being focused down, and the boys are having to be pulled off the line in order to defend. Terran looking really good right now, especially with this incredibly large siege tank count. Almost too many siege tanks, I'd say. But it doesn't really matter because it's freaking working, man. So, see what ends up happening. Phrase that is definitely being used as a filler. We do have those carriers. We'll see how much damage they could do. If the carriers focus down these Goliaths, there is no possible way that these carriers can die. June's, the Goliaths do get focused down, so carriers are just going to do what they do best and just pew all over these guys. Vultures being pulled off the line, but the natural expansion did die for Protoss. This third base is going down. We have 2 photon cannons to try to defend, but the Vultures don't give a hoot because they're putting down mines down there, where they will momentarily. And Terran is in a very solid position right now. But tons of carriers. No anti-air whatsoever. We have some Dragoons. Okay, we have some Goliaths coming out too. So, again, advantage is looking really strong for our Terran buddy here. And they have a third base that is pretty much going to be established here relatively shortly. So, yeah. There you go. And there it is. Siege tanks being dropped. That is incredibly rude. But they're going to be taken care of. Not all of the probes did die. Vultures moving in. Try to do as much damage as possible. We're down to 1 probe in this now natural expansion, second expansion, really, of our Protoss buddy. Very rough position. Definitely not impossible and not out of this game yet, but definitely not looking great, especially with that large Goliath count. And there's the GG Boa leaves. Terran just capitalizing on... Yeah, you can't base race a Terran. Obviously, it's not as simple as that, but there were other factors in this game probably that I missed. But base racing a Terran, typically not a great idea. So there you go. All right, let's spin the wheel. Let's see what we got. ZVP. Frick yeah, dude. Okay. ZVP, let's do it. All right. Okay, let's see what our ZVP is. Is it this one? No, ZVZ. PVZ. Okay, we got Barcode versus Yup Boy on Neo Dark Origin. Let's freaking do it, dude. All right. We have on... Wow, this is a cool... Oh, it's a long map. Very sick. Oblong map. Very cool. Top left, we have Yup War as the yellow Zerg. And bottom right, we have Barcode as the green Protoss. They don't want to release their name. Very cool. So, this map, I think I have commentated before. I remember a crazy bunker rush strat where it came down to the 2 SCVs on both sides. It was nuts. It was a nuts fight. And that was back when I had the VTuber avatar, because I was trying to be cool and experimental. And really, it was being cringe, but anyways, I'm just kidding. So, again, natural expansion, pretty easy to defend. Third base, actually incredibly easy to defend. Fourth base, little harder, but not as bad as the other maps that we've seen. And we have the 2 classic ramps, which you see in a lot of Brood War maps. Three ramps, my mistake, not ramps. Bridges, very cool to see. And we see... a stasis cell. Somebody has been naughty. We actually see a flanking path as well. So there are actually 2 ramps. That is interesting. A lot of potential for flanking there. So that's pretty cool. Take some water. Now, PVZ is a matchup I'm more familiar with. Of course, due to my subconscious and whatnot, it's all kind of coming back to me on what the matchups and the meta are in StarCraft 1. But PVZ, definitely. Forge Fast expand. Okay, Gateway expand. Used to be Forge Fast expand. So, I look like an asshole. So, sorry about that. Yeah. So, Protoss goes for that expansion. Go for Zealots. Corsairs. Stargate. They go for Storms, I believe. don't really go for Reavers that much unless for harass. Zerg tends to go for, what, Ling Lurker, something like that. Into Ultralisk, maybe? Okay, maybe I'm not. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. That's what I'm trying to say. But interestingly enough, Zerg is actually not opting to go for this natural expansion, but going for this expansion. It seems like it'd be harder to defend. Maybe they're trying to get this expansion even more secure and go for a fast 2 base. Who knows? Really cool stuff. No gas yet. Some Zerglings moving out. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Oh my god, rude. Protoss going for a pylon block on the natural expansion. Maybe that's why the Zerg did it. But Barcode knows that. Maybe Barcode already knows about this base over here. Let's actually see. Yeah, he does. Okay. So, interesting. Hatchery right here. I guess distance mining is better than no mining at all. And obviously, we could turn this hatchery into a macro hatchery at some point. So there you go. Large Zergling count. Zealots moving out. Doing a lot of damage to that hatchery, actually. We'll see how much damage these things can do. But annoyingly enough, Protoss going to go for the choke points. But this Zealot, not so much. In fact, we may even... We almost saw a full surround. Zealot is being focused down. Hatchery is still alive, though. See how much damage that Zerg could do. And the Zealots do get cleaned up. This one about to get a full surround. Oh, man. I bet the Protoss is sweating bullets right now and when trying to do this micro. So instead, they're going to push the Zealot into the main base to try to get some scouting information. Zerg doesn't really have anything out. No lair, nothing like that. And again, Zerg going for this kind of greedy play of 2-hatch before tech. So, Protoss doing an excellent job of trying to capitalize on that. The Zealot is still chilling. The Forge going down, and the Nexus is actually being put down relatively pretty on time, maybe. I don't know. I actually don't even know the timings. I don't even know what I'm talking about. So there you go. And we have a Hydralisk den going down as well, which is pretty cool to see. So again, we are going to see those lurkers. Will Protoss transition into Stargate? It looks like this probe is opting to do just that. We'll see what happens. And there it is. And there it is. All right. Very cool. I do like the design of this map. Just side note, since nothing's going on, that whatever this is, it looks like a, what is it, stone banana coming out of the ground halfway. And then we have, you know, the stasis pods obviously are pretty poggers. And this is actually a mineral field. Oh, interesting. I wonder if this blocks the path a little bit. But, I mean, I wonder if there have been games on this map where these 48 minerals were crucial and they were going to be taken at some point. Who knows? Who knows? Right. Yeah. So, Stargate is going to go down, and it is complete. We're probably going to see some Corsairs being produced right now. We have some fast Hydralisk movement being morphed in for a Zerg player, and they're the Corsairs. So we're going to see, so this Overlord is going to be bye-bye pretty soon. And that's okay. Zerg's probably expecting it already. And in fact, I know they're expecting it because the Overlord saw the Stargates. They're like, oh shoot, run, we need to leave. Look, even this one's leaving too. I wonder, okay, we have ground weapons being researched for Protoss 2, important note. And we have increased Hydralisk range. We don't have increased Overlord speed being researched at this time, but we do have a lair being morphed in. We'll see what ends up happening with that. Most likely going to be lurkers. It'd be crazy if they didn't. And when Overlord gets effed up, dude. Kind of supply blocking our Zerg player. That's okay. Zerg has 3 bases. They're a happy camper right now. We have some DTs being created here. Might as well, since you're going to go for High Templar, and the Templar Archives opens up both. Unlike StarCraft 2, where you need a specific building for Dark Templar, if you were not familiar. If you even played that poopy game. I'm sorry, I'm being unprofessional with my verbiage. We have some lings being pushed out as well. I don't think, I actually don't think these Zerglings have speed. I could be wrong. They seem slower than normal. I just start moving out, though. Lair is... Wait, hold on. That wasn't the lair? Oh my gosh, that wasn't the lair. That was the freaking... That was just a hatchery. I'm stupid. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. So it's moving out. We see the Dark Templar just revealed itself. Zerg is now going to pull back. The power of one Dark Templar revealing itself is pretty substantial, considering that an entire force is forced to pull back because of it. We'll see what ends up happening. Zerg doesn't really need to stress for it, though, because their Tier 1 supply structures are a detector in this game. Unlike 2, where you need to morph into an Overseer. Reason why I keep referencing StarCraft 2 so much is that I started with StarCraft 2, essentially. I technically started with Brood War 2 weeks before 2 came out, but nowhere near as much time as 2. But I like 1 because it's fun to watch. I feel like you could do more. It's more dynamic. It's got a cooler aesthetic feel than 2. But don't get me wrong, 2 is shiny, which is cool to see. And I'm not talking about the K-pop star shiny. Anyways, that was weird. We got legs being researched for our zealots here. Make them fast as heck, boy. And we actually have a third coming out for Protoss as well. So, we'll see what ends up happening later on. I think we are going to transition into Stargate eventually. We have a Spire going down. We have an Evo chamber that just got pumped out. So, this will most... Actually, is this a greater Spire? No. This is just a Spire by itself. So, we're actually going to see Carapace. A lot of Zergs like to go for armor first, because why not make your... units a little more beefy since they're already weak as heck, especially versus stupid ass Protoss. We have a K-Darin amulet. I don't really see that much of that. Does that mean Psionic Storm's already researched? I feel like it is. We have a lot of energy. Oh, not really a lot. We have one cast for Psystorm at this time. Mutalisk shouldn't be too much of a concern because Protoss, Corsairs, and Psystorms. But we do have Mutalisk coming out. We have 6. And we have the Lurker being researched at this time as well. 6 Mutalisk. Let's see how much damage they could do. I actually see a... Well, interesting. Is that a Hydralisk or Zergling that died? Kind of looks like a Lurker, honestly. That's not good. That's not bueno. And we have another High Templar that has enough energy for a Psystorm. These Mutalisks are moving out. Let's see how much damage they could do. There are no Photon Cannons really to defend this. One's being warped in, but it doesn't matter. Nice Psystorm on the Mutalisks. Another great Psystorm, keeping them really low. We have some Corsairs to defend. Tons of damage with the Glaive Worm Splash from the Mutalisks onto those probes. That is pretty spicy. But they are going to have to be... They got to pull back. They got to pull back. See what Zerg ends up doing. I feel like Zerg will eventually get a 4th here. Have to imagine. Tons of macro hatches. I have never seen this many macro hatches. This Zerg is crazy. You could use that on a base. What the heck? I guess he doesn't really need to because they're even on bases. Man, this Protoss third is well defended. There's nothing getting through that. Add to absolutely make sure. Meanwhile, this natural is not so highly defended. Tons of gateways being morphed in. Might as well, since your economy is booming. It's the 1920s for the Protoss right now. We have, I think that's +2. I think it's +2. Well, let's look at the units. We could actually confirm right now. Yeah, it's +2. We have Lings moving out, and again, I'm pretty sure these are slow Lings. Yeah, because, look at that. Metabolic Boost is just now getting researched. So bizarre. I've never seen that. Usually Metabolic Boost is like, first thing. First upgrade. We need to get them fast. But, I don't know. Zerg was like, I need the extra gas for stuff. And they are grabbing a 4th right now. So, they probably got it as soon as they said, I can't imagine if they get a 4th. Like, whatever. Anyways. And some Zerglings that are smartly positioned onto the 4th here. I think Zerg doesn't have Burrow yet. Not a high priority, but if Zerg were to get Burrow, you could do the cheeky thing where you just have a Ling that's burrowed in your opponent's bases, denying them the ability to get those bases. We have some Scourge on the field too, which will take care of those Corsairs. We have more Corsairs actually being pumped out. We have some Observatory. Just in case. I think I heard an Archon being morphed. Yeah. I mean, some Archons being morphed. What? I guess that makes sense. So usually, from what I understand, Archons typically only get morphed once your High Templar are out of energy. So you might as well just morph them into Archons to make them these busty, freaking ripped blue balls. I think we have a 4th coming out. Cleared up the Ling. Both players playing a little passive. Zerg, I think, is trying to do some aggression to try to tickle their opponent a little bit. But, yeah. See what ends up happening. Again. We have a lonely drone out here. 2 lonely drones, actually. And I have to imagine that at this point, both players are definitely going to go for some higher tech. It just naturally is just going to happen. We got pneumatized carapace, so they're the faster overlords. We have, adrenal glands. Oh, we have a hive already. Very cool. So those are cracklings that are going to come out pretty soon. Very soon. And we have just upgrades across the board. It's a pretty substantial Protoss ball moving out. The Scourge actually just end up getting shot. Not really doing anything. Zerg, what the heck are you doing? Oh my gosh, I didn't even notice this. Making a freaking 5th base right next door to their Protoss opponent. We got a lot of Lurkers. But Protoss does have detection. Lurkers do go down. And this is a pretty crazy play, but there's a giant... Oh, sorry, that's green. Let's see if we have a giant sandwich going down. A little bit of an intercept for Zerg. Again, these Lurkers doing quite a bit of damage. And this is a choke point, so Lurkers, they do great on choke points because of that linear splash. But this base is going to get taken down pretty ambitious, I'd say, from Zerg. That was pretty crazy. It's a little nutty cakes, but you know, I admire the hustle in this stance, in this instance. But yeah, I mean, it just gets taken down. And that's all there is to that, with minimal effort, honestly. Overlord's actually being rallied here too, and I think this supply blocks. No, it doesn't. Does not supply block Protoss opponent. We see a bunch of Zerglings going into the natural base, trying to take care of some reinforcements, but Protoss doesn't give a hoot. They're going to go up on this incredibly heavily defended Zerg structure. We have some side storms being plopped down. But it's just simply a fantastic lurker position with sunken colonies. There's just no way that's just going to be breached at this time without Reavers or something like that. The rest of the Zerg forces are going to go for the natural expansion of Protoss. These are cracklings, so they do not F with them. We have... High Templar does have some storms. Wasn't able to get the full energy. Dark Cloud going down, which is incredibly great with those Zerglings. Defilers doing their little dance, shimming around. The Protoss force is getting slowly dwindled down. Again, Zergling Defiler, fantastic combo. Mutilates coming out on the field. Nice Ice Storm on these Mutilates. They're all going to die. Okay, well, they have the potential to all die. And Defilers doing what they do best. Doing a I forgot what that was called. Plague ability, where they freaking take care of the health of the Protoss. I forgot what that ability was. I'll get back to you. But Zerg seems to be throwing a lot of troops. Archon does go down. Protoss still has a substantial force to stop this. Meanwhile, taking a fourth base, this base, I guess, was taken out a while ago, and I neglected to mention or notice because I'm dumb and I'm sorry. So, and I think, yeah, we got some lurkers being morphed. Let's see what Zerg ends up doing in terms of tech. Just a lot of tier 1, 2, 3 units. I don't know. Is 4 late game? I don't know. I don't know the tiers, man. I just know my tiers when I cry. I'm sorry, I'm sad. I'm not sad. Gravitic drive being researched for the Protoss. We'll see what, wonder what they're going to put in those shuttles. Protoss ending, looks like they're going to try to establish a base there. And Zerg taking back his original base. He's like, oh man, he is determined. Freaking yeah, boy is determined to take this place. And I appreciate it. The hustle the hustle lives on. Archon doing a great job of soaking up damage and destroying those Mulus. Protoss moving out. Huge size storms on these Zerg clusters. And there is detection. And Protoss is looking really strong, but this base did go down. Another Nexus being morphed at this time. Protoss is gonna clean it up. And still has more troops on the field. Corsairs being moved up. Taking out this Overlord, the poor Overlord. Zerg still has some units. These lurkers are unburrowed. But this Archon doesn't really matter because this Archon is going to go down. Lurkers in great position, but these Side Storms are simply incredible, my gosh. But these lurkers are still alive, so there you go. Archon is being summoned right now. And again, we don't see really any late game units being produced at this time. It's just a lot of back and forth, punch in the face, freaking Fight Club action going on right now. Got another Archon being morphed. This 5th base, it's pretty crucial actually for Protoss to secure this base because he is running out of money. Look at these minerals in this base and this base. Yeah, he has to hold this spot, has to take this spot at some point, or even take this spot, you know, take a page out of his freaking crazy Zerg opponent's book where he's just right next door. Hello, welcome to the neighborhood. Thank you for living here. The Zerg forces are pretty strong right now, actually. Pretty large. I think this is it for Protoss. These are all his units. As the photon cannons being put down, Zerg opting not to push in. Smartly playing patient, trying to ensure that they have a massive force to just dominate their opponent. Tons of photon cannons being morphed in. The economy is still really high for both. So we'll see. Lots of Zerglings. Shield upgrade being researched as well. Again, not opting for anything late game. I'm going to stop mentioning it. It's probably getting annoying. I'm sorry. Just seems like they would, you know? Get some more stuff. Look at their economy. They can do it. They can do it. But I guess maybe it's not even about teching. Maybe it's about how you use these units that you have. I don't know. Again, like I mentioned earlier, not an expert. Not an expert. Just having fun. You know, just having fun, you know. Size storm going down on this huge cluster of units, and unlike other units, Size Storm can go through Dark Cloud, which is cool. Tons of lurkers being morphed in right now. Crazy. Yeah, not a lot to say. I mean, Protoss doing an excellent job of holding this. More photon cannons being morphed in, warped in. Warped. Lots of rhyming in this game. And we'll see what ends up happening. Actually, I thought the Nexus was gone, but this is a pretty epic battle going on right now. Some Helm's Deep level action here. Lurker pushing in, knowing that photon cannons can't focus them down, and Zerg actually just going straight for the jugular. They're just going to go in. They're going to try to take care of these photon cannons. Once these photon cannons are done, it's not going to be looking good for our Zerg buddy, but we do have a pretty substantial Protoss force that is going to come and defend. It is amassing, but this crucial base is going down, and at this point, the economy is going to start bleeding for Protoss. Meanwhile, Zerg has these bases to try to take care of, themselves, to sustain themselves. Lots of probes are just kind of chilling right now. We have High Templar, we have Zealots. Defilers sacrificing some units in order to get more energy. Nice Ice Storms on the Hydralisk. Protoss is still alive. They are still ticking. But Zerg has more units. It just never stops. It's just wave after wave. Nice Ice Storms. These are looking good. This is like some epic, like I said, movie scene right now. This is pretty cool to watch. And Zerg, I think, gaining momentum, pushing through. And we're probably going to see a GG from Protoss relatively shortly here. Because it's just not looking that great. I mean, their economy is still technically alive, but it's just not looking good. I'll see how many units come out. And it just came down to just straight up macro and outmaneuvering the opponent here, I think. Observer does get killed. Still have some lurkers going here. And Zerg playing very patient. Very surprised. Alright, lurkers are going down. Nice Ice Storm on these lurkers, but they're simply too spread out. Probes being forced to be pulled, but they are not going to commit, it looks like. Dark Cloud going down. Those are just going to do anything, and Barcode calls it quits right there. And dang, that was a fun game to watch still. But yeah, just Protoss kept getting whittled down slowly, and then just came down to bases. Came down to bases. All right, we're down to 2 right now. Let's see what it's going to be. ZVZ. There it is. Cool. Let's go ahead and get rid of ZVZ. That just leaves Terran versus Terran as the last game, and then we'll call it. We'll call it for the night. ZVZ. This is it. Oh yeah, so okay. ZVZ, Radion, and it's gonna be the map. Yeah, Radion. It's gonna be Barcode versus. Let's get to it. Who the frick? Oh, that. Okay. Top right of the map, we have as the green Zerg, gray Zerg, I don't know. Bottom right, Barcode, blue Zerg, blue, purple, I don't know. Don't care. It's probably blue. It looks blue. Let's do it. All right. ZVZ, not familiar with it. I have to imagine that any mirror matchup is going to be heavily aggressive because nobody wants to play a mirror matchup because it's so coin flippy. Oh man, I'm getting like ring notifications and stuff. Let's frickin' snooze that shit. Alright. So, we have some stuff being stuffed. Right on, we've done this map before. This is the one with the eggs. Very cool stuff. ZVZ, let's think. What could they do? I have to imagine Zerglings. Makes sense. We actually have spawning pool before hatchery. Okay, yeah, that's another thing. No fast expands. That makes sense. Because why would you? If they're just gonna, probably play aggressive. I don't know. It's probably safe. Spawning pool extractor, maybe hatchery at natural. I have to imagine it's going to be some strong freaking Zergling play right now. And I'll just come down to micro at this point. Both production tabs looking fairly identical. Definitely more so for Barcode, but we have some gas being, gas is already being morphed in, and once it hits 100, we're gonna see the gas get spent. 96. Boom. There it goes. Metabolic boost. Both players, I think, are thinking the same thing. Metabolic boost. Right? No. What? Lair. What? Okay. Fun. Okay. Difference. That's fun. That's fun. Blue coat going for lair, not metabolic boost. So we're going to see some slowlings, but is going to go for freaking... Going to go for fast lings. So let's see how much damage and how much of a difference that's going to make. And again, notice both players, no base in sight. This is all aggression, baby. One base plays, baby. These Zergling reinforcements are actually going to get cut out. Barcode's just going to go straight for the main base. What is green going to do? Looks like green's just going to say, F it. We're going to go straight for mission control. Some hold position links on the ramp for green. And a lair being mutated as well. So a little bit later, but looks like it's going to be paying off. Blue doing an excellent job of defending. And yeah, I don't know if counterattacking was the right option, but not killing them. Green is still able to defend. Still has a lot of lings, and they do have speed, which are crazy. Speed makes you do things, man. Spire going down. Okay, we're going to get some early mutas. Are both players thinking about that? I have to imagine they are. Once this layer gets plopped down, lots of gas being accumulated as well for green. Yep, we have a Spire going down too. So, both players kind of doing the same thing, but not really. Cool stuff. We have some of the fast links moving up the ramp, but blue just is going to defend it. We'll see what happens. All right, a little bit of engagement. Green opting to pull back a little bit. So we're seeing a nice dance, a nice duet of our two players right now. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Dude, I swear you can make a drinking game out of how many times to say, we'll see what happens at this time. Yeah. For all you guys who are watching and thinking, man, I could make a drinking game. I have confirmed it for you. You're welcome. You didn't ask for it, but whatever. I'm sorry. That sounded arrogant and rude, and you're right. Blue Zerg is holding position on the top ramp. There's a huge conglomerate of green Zerglings moving in. And blue simply actually doesn't really have enough. We have the Spire down. We have two Mulas being morphed in, but there's no Zerglings to defend. This might just be game. And the Spire is getting focused. Oh no. Drone's being pulled off the line, and that Spire dies. Mulas did get morphed down. That's actually pretty massive, honestly. Sunken Colonies seem like it would have been a good choice, but... And all the drones, down to 4 drones. But Green Zerg doesn't have anything to defend this. So they're just going to make Zerglings. They do have Mutalisk. So keeping these Mutalisk alive is incredibly important. It's going to come down to incredible micro right now. And we have 3 Mutalisk coming out. And we have Scourge. Ooh, it's looking really good for Green Zerg. Let's see how much damage they can do. Nice Glaive Worm micro going down to 2 Mutalisk right now. The freaking last Samurai. The Mutalisk go down, and that's just gonna be it. Yeah, bye. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that was a little anticlimactic, but it just came down to that. Just nothing to defend, and then it was just kind of all in at that point. We're down to TVT, the last game on Retro 1.2. Let's do it. Probably wondering, why didn't you spin the wheel? Because it's the last game. Silly. You silly goose. And if you were tracking, then good for you. Great. TVT, we have Master Popo on the top right of the map as the purple Terran. And the bottom right, we have Green Terran as Carl Baskins with a, unsatisfied face. And there it is. We have 500 APM so far. This guy is on crack. We'll see what happens. Right, Jamers? That's my cat, if you're not familiar with. I think he's going to come up. Come on up, baby. There you go. Oh, he's a good kid, eh? Okay. So, okay, bye. TVT. Lots of comsats, lots of siege tank. That is usually the plays I see in this game. I think mech too, if I'm not mistaken. Lots of drops. I've seen siege tank drops in this matchup too, which is very cool. Bye, Jamers. Looking at the map right now, have we done this map? I think retro. We have not castrated on this map. Castated on this map. So right now, it really looks good. It looks like a giant eyeball or something else. If you have a dirty mind, it has this mineral field in the center. That's cool to see. Lots of flanking patterns. This would be a fun map to watch on TVZ. Or PVZ. Just Zerg in general. Because Zerg does some crazy stuff. We have barracks being constructed right now. And then a refinery. And again, Terran probably not going to go for fast expands. Especially in a mirror matchup. Why would you? It looks like my title, whatchamacallit, got updated. I'm going to restart that. And then we'll get onto this. We have two SVs, drilling each other right now. No, not drilling each other like that. No, I mean, they literally use their drills to try to kill each other. Look, they're doing it again. Man, warfare is rough. What is this? There we go. Sorry. That was weird. There was a notification for private networks to allow the firewall to access stupid on my music app, which is weird. Never think you would get hacked through your music app. But anyways, Tidal is a great music streaming service. High fidelity, dude. Definitely notice a difference in comparison to Spotify. Personally, you just what is Devin talking about? Right, yeah. Anyways, let's talk about the game. I'm not sponsored by them. Barracks being actually constructed down the ramp. That's cool to see. That's the first barracks, too. This Terran went straight up command center first. Or refinery first, then command center. So economic lead. Notice green. That's going to force green to have to take the command center to be economically even. And we have a factory being pumped out. The Terran machine shop being constructed. So we may see some vulture drops, which will be, ooh, fun to see. Vulture drops are cool. We have a marine in the bunker here, too. So that's fun. And we have a factory being put down for Popo. Yeah, let's see here. So, again, Popo's going to be economically ahead just due to the nature of the timing of the command center, but we'll see what Baskin ends up doing in order to try to get even. It looks like there's a siege tank being pumped out. We'll probably see some siege research, but it looks like this SCV is opting to go for a starport before the siege upgrade. Maybe we'll just see flat siege tank in general. Like, just a siege tank without siege mode. We do. Interesting. Okay, no starport. We are going for siege tank marine push. But there's a bunker here to try to thwart that. We see an armory being plopped down for Baskin. Baskin is greatness. I don't think we're going to be able to do a lot of damage here, but we'll see. Siege tank is probably just going to try to... Interesting, it does outrange the bunker out of siege mode. Very cool. But there is an SCV to kind of repair that. There's a kitty. What are you doing? Get out of the... What are you doing, Jamers? I'm castating. Either stay here or go. I love you. You gonna go or are you gonna stay? I don't know. So, and then we have a siege tank from Popo actually to try to stop this, but we have two siege tanks from Baskin, which is even scarier. Might even... No, it's not going to be able to do that, but there's a barracks. Kitty, I love you, but you gotta go. Oh, no, you gotta go. I'm sorry. All right. So, as predicted before, Terrans are gonna go mech. So we have the barracks waving to each other, scouting. Just so funny to me. It'll never not be funny to me. We have a Wraith coming out. See how much damage it does. It's going to try to take care of the barracks, but... And actually an SCV is being sent to repair the siege tank. That's pretty cool to see. And we have, what? That's the Chiron boosters. That's right, Goliath. Missile range increase, which will be really good versus that barracks, because that barracks is going to go down. Once those Goliaths have extra range, there's no escape. Right now, we're definitely seeing a lot of stamina. I think both players have not gotten siege upgrade. Besides, it looks like Baskin's is halfway to it, but Popo has not researched it. Wait, hold on, I heard it get plopped down. We'll see what, I'm pretty sure, maybe he already has it. Maybe he already has siege upgrade. He is getting a comsat station, so we're already going to start off the comsat wars right now. That's funny. Or that's fun. Some Marines ended up going down. It looks like, yeah, okay, Popo already has siege upgrade. Both players thinking the same thing. The rate does go down. Got a Goliath here. Some nice focus fire from the siege tanks. And Popo coming out on top. Okay, one siege tank is still really low. Okay, pretty even. We have 3 and 2 siege tanks, 3 and 4 siege tanks now. Both players pretty even when it comes to the unit count right now. Be curious to see if either opponent's going to go for a third. Probably not. It's just going to be a lot of this and a lot of this. Bang, bang, bang. There it is. You shoot, GI, you shoot. Alright. We have spider mines being researched right now. We have some ion thrusters for faster vulture movement. Looks like some siege tanks are getting focused down at this time. Both barracks moving like synchronized swimmers right now. That is actually pretty funny. Unfortunately, not terribly aligned. Okay, that would have been funny if this stopped exactly parallel to this one. Again, we're seeing some siege tank pushes. And we're actually seeing a Terran control tower, so we're going to probably see some starship upgrades for maybe this Wraith. Maybe we'll see some bunker upgrades. I don't know what I just did, by the way. I right-clicked and it did something kind of cool. I don't know. But you can't follow any of these units. And Baskin's siege tanks do get focused down. A lot of spider mines. These are Popo's spider mines. So the upper hand is definitely going to Popo right now. Popo asserting his dominance over Baskin. And a nice contain going down. Goliaths are on the field. Let's see how much damage they could do. But there's a heavy vulture count. Goliaths diving those vultures to try to take care of this. Oh my god. Okay, it does take care of the siege tank. These siege tanks. There's only 2 right now. We have 2 siege tanks for Baskin. While these are his only units. These vultures are going to make short work of these siege tanks, I have to imagine, just due to the mobility. Comsat does go down. These spider mines are on the field. Let's see if they're going to be able to get anything. They don't. More Comsats. Vultures on the field as well. I don't think Baskin has... No, Baskin definitely has. Oh, interesting. GG. Okay. Well, that's it. Well, a little bit of an anticlimactic end. But that's okay. I think the best game of the day was definitely that PvZ game. And we may do this more in the future. This was pretty fun to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, others, thank you so much for watching this episode of Nipaa TV, and I will see you in the next one.